Hey everyone, and welcome to the $1 million portfolio journey. It is the Sunday, 20th of July 2025. It's around 3 o'clock here in London, and I just wanted to update you on my portfolio. I haven't been investing for a couple of weeks now, and I just wanted to let you know what's happening, what my circumstances are at the moment, and what my plans are going forward. But before we basically get into that, I'm going to provide a portfolio update and then I'm going to go on to my plans. So let's do that now. So let's have a look at the general investment account. So the general investment account is just over £47,000. At its peak, it was near £48,000. So again, it's going in the right direction. So that's good. The stocks and shares ISA is just under 28k. Again, at its peak, it was around 28 to 29, so it's nearing the peak again. And finally, the self-invested personal pension is just over £51,000. So basically, when I take into account all the brokerage accounts that we have as a family, the total family holdings is just under $200,000, which means I'm about 5.1x. We are about 5.1x away from $1 million. So for anyone who's new to this channel, the purpose of this channel, the purpose of all this investment is to get to $1 million as soon as possible. So basically what I do is I invest very aggressively and I try to invest every day. For the last 2 weeks I haven't been investing because while I have been getting money coming in from my clients, my business, my employment, I'm having to put that aside because we've planned to go on a holiday. We've been putting off going to a holiday for such a long time now. It's been the last vacation we went to was in 2017. So it's kind of overdue at the moment. So basically all our money is going towards the vacation now. Once July is finished and August starts, I'm going to start investing again. So basically, previous month, most of my money went into starting a new business. And then this month, most of my money is going into the holiday. But from August onwards, hopefully every penny that I earn, I'm going to set aside some money for taxation and household expenses, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest the remaining money. So hopefully I'm going to have about 300 to 500 pounds every day the stock market is open, so I can invest in my company. So let's have a look how these companies are doing at the moment. So I own three companies: Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Nvidia. So let's have a look at how Tesla is doing at the moment. So today, Tesla closed on Friday and it was valued at $329.38 per share. So that was the closing price on Friday and it was up around 3%. It has had a very up and down year. If we zoom out 1 year, we can see it peaked around 479 and it's gone as far down as 200, and let's have a look, 22. So 220, it's settled in the middle about 330 now, but I think it's got so much to go, which is why I'm trying to invest as much money as possible into Tesla. So that's Tesla. The fundamentals for me are going in the right direction. Robo taxi, they've started it, they're scaling it, they're expanding the area which they're offering their service, and it's going to be a big part of their business. And once they've got that off the ground, they're going to start with the Optimus robot as well, and once they get that off the ground as well, it's just gonna keep on minting money. So To be honest with you, I'm not too concerned about these short-term fluctuations. I'm not too concerned about the spat between President Trump and Elon Musk. These are just small things. And, when it does happen, I use that opportunity to buy the dip. So last 7 days, I think I was buying around 309. I was buying as much as possible between 3 to 309, and it was like a very very good time to buy the dip, and now it's gone up to 329. So you got to use these opportunities when the market, when you believe in the company and there's like some short term news that is just lowering the price of the share of the company. This is the time where you go in and buy as much as you can, because it's going to pay dividends in the future. So that's Tesla. Let's have a look at MicroStrategy now. So this is my Bitcoin treasury company. This is, rather than me buying Bitcoin directly through eToro or Kraken or something like that, what I do is I try to buy MicroStrategy through my ISA or my SIPP, because it has a lot of tax advantages. So again, if I buy MicroStrategy through my SIPP or through my ISA, I won't actually have to pay any capital gains tax, which is a great way to, preserve your money. If I was to just buy Bitcoin through a company like eToro or through a company like Kraken, whenever I make any, long-term gains, I would have to be paying capital gains tax, and that comes to like about 40%. So it's not really worth it for me. And again, with MicroStrategy, it's leveraged money as well. So MicroStrategy basically buy Bitcoin with leverage, and every time Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy will go up even more. So I know there's a lot of risks associated with this, but I've done a deep dive on this, and I think this is the best strategy for me. I want Bitcoin exposure, but basically I want it in my SIPP and my ISA. As soon as we're allowed to buy Bitcoin through the SIPP or ISA in the UK, I'm going to be kind of diversifying into that. But at the moment, we have no facility at all to buy Bitcoin through an ISA, an individual savings account, where we're exempt from capital gains tax, or through our SIPP, which is again exempt of capital gains tax, and we're given tax relief on source. So both ways we can't buy. So this is the next best alternative. And MicroStrategy are doing really well. They've introduced more than 4 structured products, credit instruments into the market that are doing very well. And they're also, if you look at the last, today it's down, on Friday it was down about 6%. So basically what they're doing is they're doing at the money offering. So they're basically selling their shares to raise money so they can buy more Bitcoin. So again, not too concerned about MicroStrategy. I know this is a very very volatile company. It could go down to 200 or 100, but at that point I would be buying more, because I get this company completely. I get it. I know what they're trying to do. I know the direction of Bitcoin. So if it goes down to 100, I will try to buy as much as possible. So that's MicroStrategy. Not too concerned about that. And Nvidia, it's just doing amazing. It's such a beautiful story. It's trading around $172 at its bottom. When the tariffs were introduced, it was around $88, I believe. Basically what I did was I decided to buy MicroStrategy instead of Nvidia, but Nvidia basically grew more, it increased more. So in hindsight, if I had invested more money into Nvidia, I would be up more. But I was concerned that I want some Bitcoin exposure in my portfolio, which is what I did. Nvidia is just going to keep on going up, in my opinion. It's probably going to go to 200, but hopefully it's going to come down to around 150, 140, hopefully 130, and I'm going to try and load up as much as possible. So again, if we zoom out since 2020, you can see that Nvidia is up around 1500%. So this is just an amazing return. If we look at MicroStrategy over the last 5 years, we'll see it's up around 3,400%. So again, amazing returns. And Tesla, if we zoom out, this is my largest holdings. If we zoom out, we will see that it's up around 215%. So not as spectacular as the other two, but I think, you know, with Tesla, Nvidia, and MicroStrategy, you can't get it wrong. These are like very, very good company, good management, you know, solid growth. They've got their eye on the future, which is AI, Bitcoin, autonomy, microchips. So I've kind of got like all my bases covered with Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Nvidia. So I'm just gonna keep on buying more. So the way I think about it is these are my three horses. So it's just a matter of just investing in these horses and seeing which one goes the furthest, the fastest. So at the moment, out of Nvidia, Tesla, and MicroStrategy has gone the fastest over the last 5 years. It's up over 3,000%. Then Nvidia 1,500%, then Tesla about 300%. Most of my holdings is in Tesla, and then it's MicroStrategy and Nvidia. So again, what I intend to do, what my plan is I want to get my Tesla position up to, and I'm just going to go over to my spreadsheet now to show you. So at the moment, I've got 465. We have got 400, just over 465 shares in Tesla. And then we got just over 94 shares in MicroStrategy and just over 34 shares in Nvidia. So my target for Tesla is to get it to 500 shares. My target for MicroStrategy is 200 shares, and my target for Nvidia is 200 shares as well. If we look at it in terms of percentages, you can see that I'm 93% of the way there for Tesla, 47% of the way there for MicroStrategy, and 17% of the way there for Nvidia. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and buy as much Tesla as possible, because I think that's the most oversold and undervalued company compared to these three. And then whenever MicroStrategy or Nvidia dips, so you know, MicroStrategy has dipped on Friday. If I had money, I'd probably have bought some at that stage as well. So whenever it dips, it's an opportunity. It's basically on sale. I'm going to try and buy as much as possible. So I've got Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Nvidia to choose from. So Nvidia, I'm hoping there's going to be a big dip in the future where it goes down to 150 or something. That's when I'm going to try and load up as much as possible. So when you have three companies, you know, one of them is always going to be, you know, have some sort of bad news. It's going to dip. It's going to give you an opportunity to increase that position in that company. So if you think, for example, MicroStrategy is overvalued at the moment, it's like gone up quite a lot, and Tesla is just undervalued as a lot, and it's been oversold, you can kind of rotate from MicroStrategy and to Tesla. So that is my plan for the future. First, what I want to do is get to my target of 500 shares in Tesla, then 200 shares in MicroStrategy, and then 200 shares in Nvidia. And then I will be rotating between the companies. And because I'm in my ISA and my SIPP, basically when I'm rotating between the companies, what I won't be subjected to is capital gains tax. So basically I can just, you know, sell a position and buy into another without paying any taxes. And because it's free, because it's commission free on free trade, I'm going to be saving on commission as well. So that's gonna come in the future, but for the moment I want to get to my levels. So 500 shares in Tesla, 200 in MicroStrategy, and 200 shares in Nvidia. So just a quick recap. The ultimate goal for this portfolio is to reach $1 million. Now I want to get there as soon as possible. I don't want to like hang around too much. I know there are some people who, you know, who do it the long way, like they invest £100 a month over a certain period of time, and then they get to that million and they diversify, you know, between 500 companies in the S&P 500. it's fine to do it like that. It's a proven way to do it. But basically, the way I want to do it is I want to get to 1 million as soon as possible. I've done a deep dive on Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Nvidia. I've picked 3 companies which I think are gonna be the future, and I'm just betting heavily on that. So betting heavily on Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Nvidia. And whenever they're oversold, I'm gonna buy as much as possible. I'm gonna consistently buy every day, but I'm gonna choose the one that is most oversold and undervalued, so I get best value for money. So that's the target of this portfolio. I have 4 very simple rules when it comes to investing. So the first rule is I'm a long-term investor. I know I said I want to reach that 1 million as soon as possible, but again, anything that I buy, I'm gonna keep it for at least 5 years, and I'm not gonna sell anything for 5 years. I'm gonna try and keep it for at least 10 years. So I'm a very long-term investor. I want to reach my million as soon as possible, but then, I want to get to 2 million, 4 million, 8 million, 10 million, 20 million, like that. So that's the goal. Rule number 2 is I'm a very aggressive investor, so I work very hard. I'm working 7 days a week, thinking 7 days a week, working 12 to 14 hours a day. I've got multiple businesses. I do Airbnb, I do Turo as well. So basically what I do is I provide exceptional service, and then the money that I get from these ventures, I set aside the money for taxation, set aside some money for household expenses, and then I invest the remainder. So I'm in employment as well, so whenever I get my salary as well, I try to put that into my investments as well. So again, I'm working very hard, and I'm trying to get my money up as soon as possible so I can reach that 1 million. Once I reach the million, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop there. I enjoy what I do, so I'm going to keep on doing it, but I just want to secure my future, get as much money as possible, invest as much money, accumulate my pots, and possibly do something good in the future for myself, for my family, for philanthropy. So that's the goal. So that's rule number 2, which is investing aggressively. Rule number 3 is I'm a very volatile investor, so I invest in incredibly volatile companies like Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Nvidia. So these are very volatile. They can go up and down in like 10s, 20%, 30% in a matter of weeks. So it is painful, I'm not gonna lie. To be honest with you, it is very painful, but I've kind of like become immune to it. So if MicroStrategy goes down by 6%, I won't be disappointed. I will be disappointed, but then it's going to be overcome by my long-term thinking, and then I'm going to look at it as an opportunity. So that's rule number 3, being a very volatile investor. And now rule number 4 is I try to invest in a very tax efficient way. So what I mean by that is I always try to top up my ISA, my SIPP, and my family's ISA and SIPP before I go into our general investment account. So that's the last place I want to park my money and investment. In my general investment account, I always try to top up my SIPP, my ISA, so I maximize the tax efficiency, my tax allowances. So in the UK, we have something called an individual savings account for adults, and we have a junior individual savings account for kids. So basically, we can top up as adults 20k into our ISA account every year, and any gains that we make on that account, we're not subjected to capital gains tax. And in the kids account, we have a £9,000 allowance. So any gains that the kids make within that year or any year, every year that you invest, they are not subject to any capital gains tax whenever they take out the money. So for example, suppose I say explodes to around 10 million in about 5 or 10 years time, just hypothetically speaking, then when we sell that position or sell a bit of it, we won't have to pay any taxation on it. So it's a great way to enjoy or, do something good with the money, because obviously I've paid my taxes, I've paid my income taxes. So now what I want to do is keep as much of the gains as possible and then do something for myself, for my family, for philanthropy. So that's the plan. So be as tax efficient as possible. That's rule number 4. So hopefully you found this video entertaining and useful. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, join my journey, go on your own journey. I've reached around 1,600, 1.6k in subscribers, so keep on subscribing. Thank you very much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And also, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I will try to answer as many comments as possible. And also, go on your own journey, see what you can do. Open up a free trade account. I leave a link in the comment section below, in the description below. Join and start your journey, start maximizing your ISA. Challenge yourself, find a company that you really believe in, do a deep dive in it, train your mind, and then just invest with small amounts at the beginning. So I started with £1, then £5, then £10. So once I started to become more confident in my stock picking, once I became more confident in my thesis, then the more I started to invest. And it was kind of like a momentum, it took over. So I understood that these companies are the future, they're going to be doing well. I understood the volatility aspects of it, so it could go down. I understood the market dynamics as well, booms and busts. So it could give, it could go down quite a lot, it could go up quite a lot, but it's going to revert back to the mean. So once you understand that, you become more comfortable in investing. And once you become more comfortable in investing, you will start to invest even more money. So it's kind of like a virtuous cycle that you become. And then what you want to do is you're going to start to look at ways to increase your money. You're going to start to get into better employment. You're going to start to find other ways of making money, and you're always going to be thinking of increasing your income and earnings. So it's a great way to kind of like secure your future. So that's it for today. I hope you found this video useful. I hope you're having a great weekend, and join me on Monday and I'll bring you another update on the portfolio. So have a great weekend. Take care. Bye.